Hey everyone, welcome to Speaking of Sports. This week I'm going to start off talk about the news that broke last week with Jason Garrett getting hired on to the Giants staff. He's going to be the new offensive coordinator, and it seems as if he's building his own team from the offensive coordinator spot. He brought Mark Colombo. Last year he was with the Cowboys offensive line. It seems like he's building his own team. And he's not even the head coach. So what does this mean for the Giants? In my opinion, for a lot of Cowboys fans, they're going to be like, yes, the Giants are stuck for as long as Garrett's there. But in my opinion, I think that the Giants are in a good spot. Not in the near future. They still have to rebuild their team. But what they're going to do around that young quarterback with Daniel Jones, around the young running back in Saquon Barkley, they're going to build an offensive line. They're going to utilize that all the talent they have at the running back position, Garrett's good with young quarterbacks. Remember Dak, his rookie year, they went 13-3. He's good with using your assets to your advantage. And for a young quarterback, he doesn't need the whole reading the defense, all of that. He needs to go into play action. You need a good running back, a good offensive line, a good tight end, which they have in Evan Ingram. They have a great tight end. He's in my opinion, he's a more athletic version of Blake Jarwin, who is also a good tight end. We haven't seen his full potential yet, but he's a good tight end for the Cowboys. And that is Garrett's MO. He is going to build around that. That is going to be his strengths. And in my opinion, once they build that offensive lineup like the Cowboys did in 2014 and on, they are going to be set for the next 7 to 10 years. And that, as a Cowboy fan, scares me. As of right now, in my opinion, the Cowboys have the best team in the NFC East. So that's just in the next 1 to 2 years. But who knows what could happen after you build that offensive line for the Giants. So So that's it right there. They're looking really good. Garrett's bringing people that he wants, even though that he is the offensive coordinator. In my opinion, it looks as if ownership for the Giants are making their way to where eventually Garrett will be the lead man, the head coach of the Giants. And as a Cowboys fan, that does not seem like it is going to benefit us the most. Now I'm going to go on to the NBA. Zion Williamson made his first debut on the 22nd. It was boring for the first 3 quarters. He had 5 points in the first 3 quarters. There was nothing too impressive. And then he went on. It was like a light switch. He went on. He scored 17 points in the 4th quarter. He just made a show for everyone to see, and they realized why he was the best pick in the draft. They realized what all the hype was about. He was 4 from 4 for threes. He scored 22 points, I believe it was, total. 17 in the 4th, 4 for 4 from threes. Somebody of his size, he is going to score a lot of points from messed up plays. When he's not covered around the 3-point line, he's gonna make his own points. He's not like a point guard like Luka would be, to where they can make things happen. He can make things happen, but he's not going to set the play up to make things happen for himself. He makes things happen whenever they're going badly. Like a Shaq or Charles Barkley, somebody like that. He's going to disrupt things, and he's going to make things happen himself. And that young New Orleans Pelicans team is looking really great right now. And they got a lot of future ahead of them, especially with all those picks they got from Anthony Davis. They are... as a Pelicans fan, you can be upset that you got rid of Davis, but look at all that luck that fell in your lap right there. You got Lonzo Ball, you got Hart, you got they didn't get Ingram, but they got somebody else. Then they got Zion Williams, and on top of that, I think they got 3 first-round picks from the Lakers. They are set up for the future, and that team is going to be very good in these next few years. Also, the Mavericks and the Clippers played on Wednesday night. That was a great game to watch. One of my favorite games all year to watch. This was, it's obvious the Clippers are the better team. and that was from the very beginning of the year. Nobody argued it. Clippers are the better team. But the Mavericks put up a really, really good fight. And still to this day, in a 7-game series, the Clippers would probably win in 5 or 6 games against the Mavericks. And that doesn't sound good whenever you write it down, whenever you think about it. But the Mavericks are supposed to be the 8th seed this year. And as of right now, they're competing with the Clippers. You're already a step above. You're doing very great. That's the 2nd to 3rd team in the West, the Clippers are. Probably got the Lakers, and then either the Jazz, Nuggets, Clippers, all right there. Right now, you're competing, in my opinion, with the Rockets. If you can, let's just say you start a 7-game series today with the Rockets. If you could take that series to 7 games, 6, 7 games, you're in great shape. And in my opinion, you can, and you might even be able to win it. And on top of that, unfortunately, Dwight Powell went out with a right Achilles injury. He'll be out for the season, possibly won't return until this time next year. So that's pretty sad for him. He's a great guy, great teammate. Everybody loves him. So the Mavs are going to be needing to pick up some more depth in that position. So off the top of my head, I don't know who they'd be talking to. But if they could pick up somebody good. You don't really have a whole lot of trade assets in the near future to pick up a huge key person that could put you over the top. But if they do, some last 2 years with Kristaps Porzingis, with Luka, they have pulled it off. And if they could pull it off again, that would be crazy, because they would be, if they picked up somebody like, I don't know, Drummond, pick up Drummond, they'd be right there at the 3rd seed, the 3rd or 4th seed in the West. And you're well ahead of schedule. They're doing great. Also, Kristaps Porzingis made his first return back in 10 games on Tuesday night. And he didn't look good from the floor, shooting-wise, which he might need to take some time getting back into that rhythm. But he was great defensively, had a few blocks, had a lot of rebounds. He was a good contributor to the team, and that relationship will work itself out. The more he plays, the more shape he gets in, all that kind of stuff. So, and that's another thing. Luka had his assists. He had his assists just like he does every game. It has to do with players knocking down the shots. And if they did knock those shots down, like the very last play of the Clippers game, he passed it over to Tim Hardaway Jr., wide open 3 to tie the game to go into overtime, and he missed it. And that just happens. He wasn't hitting his shots, and also Kawhi Leonard wasn't hitting his shots, so it kind of evened itself out. But you got to hit your shots. Luka has his assists. He's doing great, getting the ball around to everyone, and people are starting to show up role player wise. Like Seth Curry, he's really stepping up. Tim Hardaway Jr. is doing good. Maxi Kleber, he always does very well on the defensive end, and he can also knock down some threes and get up underneath the post as well. So all players contributing very well. They are they're above pace in what they're supposed to do, and I'm really looking forward to this future with the Mavericks. Okay, now I'm going to get on to some baseball. The over-unders are out for most of the Major League teams, everybody besides the Astros, and that could be because I was listening to on the radio today. They could be because of they don't want to set an over-under on the Astros game totals because there could be some possible suspensions coming down with Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve, which those are complete rumors. But if they're the only team that haven't got a over-under yet, there could be something behind that. And that would be crazy because as of right now, they haven't hired a manager yet. And they interviewed Jeff Bannister, a Rangers favorite, team favorite. Everybody loved him here. Well, besides the players. He's a great manager. But besides the manager, that shouldn't play a huge role in the win totals of that Astros team because they got a great team if they know what pitch is coming or not. And they're on paper, they're probably a 93-win team. If you were to do over-under, it'd be 93.5 win team. And then the A's are an 89.5 win team over-under. The Rangers are, I think they were 80.5, maybe 79.5. Okay, so this is what I would do. I would pick the over on the Rangers to win at least 80 games. I would flip if the Astros were picked to do a 93.5 win season. Honestly, it would be more of a trick if you were to flip the A's and the Astros. If you were to say the Astros had 89.5 wins this season, if you were to say the A's had 93.5, that would be closer to what it was. Because honestly, I would pick the under for the Astros. I would pick the over on the A's because, my opinion, the A's are going to win this division this year. And with one more pickup, I think the Rangers could be competing. I'm not saying they're going to, but they could be competing with the Astros for that second wild card spot. This is going to be a really fun year in the major leagues. The number one team that was picked was 101.5 wins with the Yankees, and I think I didn't hear what the Twins were, but I think, in my opinion, I think the Twins are going to have the best record in the American League. But it's going to be a fun year, and also in the American League. Is it the American League East? Yeah, American League East with the Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles, and Blue Jays. They had the Yankees at the top, Orioles at the very bottom. Yankees at the top of the American League, Orioles at the very bottom with 54 wins or something like that. It was funny. So that's going to be they had Boston with 88.5 wins, which is kind of crazy, saying that I know that their manager's gone as well, but they still have their same team. And in my opinion, I think they're going to be a 90-win team or so. They're going to be trying to compete for that first wild card spot up there with the Twins. So we're just going to see what happens. It's going to be a great year in Major League Baseball. There's still a couple more weeks until pitchers and catchers report, about 3 weeks until spring training. It's going to be a fun next few weeks. Hopefully we got some more breaking news coming down. Also, you have Nolan Arenado. He kind of admitted to himself and to everyone, I guess I'm going to play ball this year. He doesn't want to stay in Colorado, but for him, he's finally seeing that he might have to. So he's taken that and he said, okay, let's just go play ball this year. And depending on how, they're in a great division. They're with the Diamondbacks. They're with the Dodgers. They got a great division. Dodgers win 100-plus games a year. So depending on how everything works out, they have a rough start to the year. Maybe the Rockies are up for a trade. Maybe they won't ask for as much for Arenado. Maybe they won't ask for as much prospects. So we'll just have to wait a little before trade deadline, a little before the All-Star break. We'll see what happens going into the near future. That's all I have for this week. Thanks for listening to Speaking of Sports. Make sure to listen to the podcast. Download the app, like it, share it. If you have any sports-related questions, please comment below or message me personally. I try to get them on next week's show. Until then, thanks for listening to Speaking of Sports. I'm your host, Jared Slack.